Welcome to the Multidimensional Creator. I'm Evangeline Hemrick, your host. Side effects of listening to this podcast may include becoming radically sovereign over your life and taking full responsibility, breathing deeper, moving in new ways that make you feel really good, doing energy work on yourself, your animals, your land, and the planet. Trusting your intuition, grounded clarity, and inspiration. So consult your intuition before proceeding further with the podcast. As you take a deep breath with me, and maybe you put a hand on your heart and just breathe into the center of your chest. I want to read a Sufi poem to you that maybe you've heard by Rumi. It inspired an article that I just wrote recently. It inspired a loving response to a reaction to some of my words. So breathe into your chest. Breathe into that Stargate portal in your heart. And take in these words. There is some kiss we want with our whole lives. The touch of spirit on the body. Seawater bags the pearl to break the shell. And the lily, how passionately it needs some wild darling. At night, I open the window and ask the moon to come and press its face against me. Breathe into me. Close the language door and open the love window. The moon won't use the door, only the window. The first time I heard that Rumi passage read by Coleman Barks, if you have not experienced the brilliance of Coleman Barks, I'm going to put a link in the show notes for you. Oh my goodness. Today is about deciding that we want to be in conscious relationship with language. Language is very, very interesting. A single word can open someone's heart. A single word can shut them down because of our experiences, because of the lens that we project and perceive everything in our movie, because our movie that's playing out, our projections of what we assign meaning to is totally unique to us. So today, I want to invite us into something way more powerful, that conscious relationship with language. So if you're somewhere safe to do so, I'd like to ask you to have your journal handy or a piece of pen and paper, because today we're going to practice doing energy work together. We're not just going to talk about it and theorize about energy work and alchemy over our life. No. Today, we are the alchemists of our lives in this moment. Just let that land. Take another breath with me right now. Notice where you've been holding tension. And we're going to breathe that out of our body. So here's something that I've learned quite painfully as a teacher. If you use your voice, if you are a frequency transmitter of ideas, if you speak the truth that comes up from your heart center, out your throat portal, you will offend someone. It is inevitable. And that's just a welcome to leadership high five. You were brave enough to be a leader and a teacher. It's not because you're wrong. It's not anything other than your words are landing on someone's lived experience. And if they don't know how to be the alchemist of their own life yet, there's no reason to get frustrated about that. But oh my goodness, there was a time when I was like, my gosh, I can't say anything. I can't say the word healer that it's not offensive to someone. I can't say the word shaman that it doesn't bring up things for someone. And even in my first episode where I'm talking about, yeah, we've done the healing. We've done the healing. Now it's time to build. And then somebody can take exception to that because they're still healing, because you cannot, in a polarity planet, be all things to all people and make everybody happy. That is the disease to please. That will keep you in people-pleasing addiction. It will keep you playing it small. And you didn't come to this podcast to play small. Like the Nelson Mandela quote, you are not doing God any good. You are not doing the world that you came to be in service to any good when you shrink back and you don't shine your light. So a trigger is not a failure. Whether you're on the receiving end of the trigger or the giving end of the trigger is a doorway. It's a portal. And you know how I love portals. So the real question when we're offended by any kind of word is not, why did they say that? The real question is, what lit up inside of me based on my life experiences and my emotional filters? What lit up inside of me when I heard that word? That is the gold that we are digging for and unearthing today. So on your piece of paper or in your journal, I would like for you to write this at the top, words that trigger me. And then underneath it, when we're done with this podcast, or you can hit pause right now and go do that. That would be amazing if you have the time for that. Just start writing. Start writing words, phrases, spiritual lingo, political phrases, religious language, healing stuff. That's that spiritual bypassing kind of languaging, anatomical phrases that are just really offensive to you. If someone calls a particular body part a certain thing, that is the gold that my teacher, Raymond Grace, he's my dowsing mentor. In the beginning of his body intelligence class, first thing he does is say, get out a sheet of paper and write down every word that offends you. Not to argue his definition of like, no, what he means by that word compared to what you translate him to mean from that word. No, to just transmute, to just do energy work, the real deal, day-to-day cleanup of your life. Do the alchemy on the words that hold any kind of power over you, because when a word controls your emotional state, it has power over you. And we, as sovereign beings, and that's the word that I'm going to get into, was the trigger most recently. Sovereignty, as I define it, is meaning I'm in the driver's seat of my inner world, and there's no words that can fall on my ears that can elicit a reaction and take my power away. Okay? So someone else who listened to the first podcast, someone that I just love dearly, said, I don't like that you use that word. That seems like going against a belief system of there is one sovereign ruler over the universe or the multiverse. And I lovingly explained, no, man, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying we were created with this amazing vessel, and who's going to take care of it if we don't? There is no source, creator outside of us that's going to brush these teeth or walk my legs outside just to face east and get my sun codes in the morning. No, I have to have sovereignty. I have to have agency over this body. This is the ecosystem that I have been assigned to steward and be a good caretaker of. But what you see out here in the world is just a total abdicating of responsibility over the physical body. In the culture that we grew up in, there was no personal sovereignty of developing your intuition, developing your body wisdom, knowing what is the right food for you, your food that is going to fuel your very complex, very unique ecosystem. There's nobody else that can tell you what to eat for your body. That's what I'm talking about. And so this beautiful soul that was very offended that I had said sovereignty and took it to mean like I'm saying I'm the sovereign over the universe. I'm like, no, I'm sovereign over this queendom right here. This collective corporal environment that is my ecosystem. Nobody's going to tell me what to do with this body because I am sovereign over it and I am a benevolent ruler of it. But I really try to take the time to listen to what it needs and not be all up in my head about what to eat, what supplements to take. All of that is an inside job. When anyone tries to tell us what we should be doing with this ecosystem that we have been entrusted with, I am not down with that. I will not comply over anything to do with my body. So where I see people give away their sovereignty a lot is in plant medicine communities, religion, even up to AI or up to healing tools, ideology, all these things, especially in the world of food. Oh my gosh. Have you ever noticed how dogmatic and legalistic people are about their food? And like, they have it all figured out. And if everybody's not doing what they're doing, well, they're wrong. Whether that's veganism or carnivore or paleo, or, I mean, I'm just like, what are you talking about? The only thing we can do is learn, really, really learn this vessel that we have been entrusted with, the most amazing technology we're ever going to have. So upon my explanation of what I meant by that word sovereign, everything softened. Everything was like, oh, we are actually in alignment. There's no reason to have a reaction to the way that I am using that word when more information was given. So think about that next time someone's on a public platform and you are just really rubbed wrong by what they said. If you had the ability to take a walk with that person, sit around a fire with that person, you might find out that you actually understand them and agree with a lot more about them than you thought. Because here's the thing about being on planet Earth. We live on a polarity planet. This means if you are trying to live consciously in right relationship with others, instead of just sleepwalking through life, instead of just going through the emotions in a consumer culture, we're all going to be a walking contradiction. That's the thing about living in polarity. Life is a paradox. And when you come to understand that you're living within the contradiction and things are just not going to make sense in terms of healing or anything else, using the word healing, like saying, no one can heal us but ourselves. And yet at the same time, the opposite thing is true, that there are these competent facilitators, that's what they were put here to do. They were created and designed to activate other people into their own discovery of healing. Both of those things are true. We can say all day long, a human must be responsible for their own regulation, their own coherence, their own embodied wisdom of what they need to do with their body for wholeness. And at the same time, we need each other. We need each other as human beings. And that was what I was trying to convey when I was talking about how podcasts help me so much. If I'm just feeling like I just need a boost, I just need to get my vibration a little bit higher, raise my frequency, I can put on a podcast and my whole day will shift because I needed that person. And it's so efficient. It's such an efficient way for me to level up with the help of fellowship, community, support, because that person's out doing whatever they're doing, walking their dog or having breakfast, or they're living their best life. And I just got to be infused with the inspiration that I needed to shift my day because of them, because they gave me that gift. And that is the gift that I'm paying forward to you. So that's one of my very favorite contradictions and paradoxes in the holistic healing arts. No one can heal us but ourselves, and we need each other for healing. Both are true. Here's another one that I love. Anything can be a tool to make our lives better, and that very thing can also be very destructive and distracting. Does not matter what it is. It does not matter if it's healing modalities, church, nutrition, like we were talking about before, breath work, ayahuasca, exercise, hape. It doesn't matter. Crystals even, or even talk therapy. It can be a wonderful, beautiful thing, or it can be a total distraction. That's the polarity that we live in. I mentioned something about AI the other day, and I got a comment back. Oh, but people are going to be so extreme and they're going to give away all their power and they're not going to know how to relate to each other anymore or whatever. And this person went down a lot of really legitimate things that could happen. And I'm like, yeah, it's like money. You can use technology as a tool for the betterment of humanity. You can use AI as a efficient, time-saving, assistant to truly allow you more time for the magic to flow, for the things that you are here to create that no technology can do, because you are the technology. Or you can use it as a total distraction and abdication of your own personal sovereignty and responsibility. The moment something takes you out of the driver's seat of your own life, it stops being a tool and it starts being a substitute for your sovereignty. Because guaranteed, if I say something pro plant medicine, because it is for some people, for instance, if I say something about ayahuasca is not for me. I am not going to sit with ayahuasca in ceremony. There are other plant medicines that work really well for me, but that's not one of my teachers. But I could say, oh, how wonderful and beneficial it's been for someone. Or I could say in another podcast, I've seen psychotic breaks and I've seen it be very detrimental for the wrong person at the wrong time with the wrong facilitator. Both of those things are equally true. Someone can hear me say one thing and think, oh, she's totally pro plant medicine. Somebody could hear me and say, oh, Evangeline doesn't believe in taking ayahuasca. No, neither one of those are true. So if you're here to lead and you're here to teach, you just get over being misunderstood, because it will happen. You will be misunderstood. But this all comes back to a book that I love and I talk about a lot, The 4 Agreements and conscious listening. My dad found the 4 Agreements in jail. He was in jail for a couple of years, and it changed his life when he read that book. I remember when he wrote me from jail and asked me to mail him a copy of the book, and I was like, what? What is going on with my dad in prison? he changed completely. And he learned some of the hardest spiritual practices you will ever do. And they're in that little book. And they will change your life as well. One of them is not taking things personally. Another of the 4 agreements is not making assumptions about anything. Because we honestly don't know. We honestly don't know the full story of what someone means when they use a word until we ask them, until we court them and really take the time to get to know, what do they mean when they use that word? Another one of the 4 agreements is being impeccable with your own word. And this is so key. So our work in mastery is to get to where the words other people are using, they don't have any effect on us. But we know we've got to be so intentional with the frequency and the vibration and the words that come out of our mouth. Because it is now in the 5th dimension, it is a creation portal, the throat chakra, the throat center. So every word that you say is so important. It's so powerful. It's creating your life and it's having a great effect on the world around you. Then the last one of the 4 agreements, always do your best. I love that book so much. I would give everyone I know a copy if I could. So now let's revisit your list. Choose one word out of the words that you have written down and say out loud, this word no longer controls my emotional state. I choose discernment over reaction. I choose curiosity over being triggered. And I choose love over projection. One of my favorite shamanic teachers, Amanda Scott, she said in an interview one time, almost everything is projection in life. And it is. So this is a huge treasure chest of knowledge to have, walk around with that, to be the alchemist of your life. Because being the one who does energy work to create love where love is absent, enhance love where love is present, it requires something that most people don't like to do, to be responsible, not to blame, being responsible for your own inner world, for your triggers, for your interpretations. That, to me, my friends, is sovereignty. That is why I put it in the intro of the podcast. We don't have to agree on every single word and what we mean by it to stay in right relationship with each other. We don't need to share every definition to share humanity. So today, if a word hits you, if a word triggers you, let that word become your teacher instead of a weapon. If your words trigger someone else, let your love be bigger than the language you use, and everything will work out. Even if maybe in the moment they don't understand what you mean. So speaking of this, speaking of tools, I have a wonderful, beautiful celebration to invite you into on the last night of the year of the wood snake. So the Chinese New Year, which is based on a lunar calendar, much like the Hebrews, it's more based on nature and the natural rhythm of 13 moons. It ends on February 16th. So this is a little bit of time-sensitive information where the rest of this podcast is totally evergreen. So whenever you come across it, the replay of this amazing night we're going to spend together will be available if you want that. but you can come live and we're going to have a true New Year's Eve celebration for the natural year. And I'm going to do a masterclass on developing your intuition, learning your body wisdom, regulating your nervous system so that you can embody this sovereignty that I'm talking about. So if you are interested in that, it's going to be 2 hours. It's going to be 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. on that last night of the wood snake energy, so we can completely shed the old and step into that fire horse energy on February 17th. I tell you what, I have never seen more people aware of the lunar calendar year, the natural new year beginning. I've never seen more people becoming aware that there are other New Year's Eves and New Year's Days, beginnings to the year. I also love the spring equinox as a new beginning of the natural cycles of the year. But I have never seen more people ramped up and excited to begin the year of the fire horse. This fire horse energy is something really special. So I'd love for you to start it with me in the most powerful way, in the most supported way, and it's going to be a really fun evening as well. So thank you for walking this paradox with me. Thank you for being brave enough to live consciously on a polarity planet. And thank you for being willing to alchemize your life from the inside out. It's definitely always a work in progress. So until next time, stay curious in a really playful, childlike way. Stay sovereign and stay loving. Thank you for spending time with me today. If this episode supported you, come connect with me on Instagram at Evangeline Hemrick. You can find my website, evangelinehemrick.com. And we also have a supportive community for multidimensional creators like you on Facebook. To go deeper with me in one-on-one work, you can book a private session with me on my website. Until next time, stay embodied, stay sovereign, and keep listening to your intuition.